So I would make the story like the found family of Ma and Pa Kent established Justice League, him meeting the Daily Planet family, and then Brainiac representing all the things that Lex perceives Superman to be.
Gina, you disagree with all that?
No, I want to see who he's dating, who he's marrying.
Brainiac?
Yeah, Brainiac.
What does he eat for lunch?
Who are you wearing? What are your hot takes on sweet
Tom
potatoes?
Ford! Welcome back to the Breakroom. I'm Brandon Barrick. Who cares? Joining me today, we got Gina Ippolito. And we got Coy Jandreau.
Excited, guys.
And we're having a headlines day as we roll through this Thanksgiving week. Getting
right,
ready for the
man?
holidays. I lost my mind.
He's already on vacation.
Yeah,
He's in.
I was like, where am I?
Sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, fries.
We're rolling through this holiday week, and we're gonna do some headlines. We haven't done those in a second. We've been getting some good headlines. You know, we got trailers for What If and Echo already. Those are coming from Marvel, right? But we got DC headlines today.
Okay.
They're rolling out some news, so let's dive right into it. But before we get into the superheroes, okay, we want to say a special congratulations to our colleague, Dave Filoni.
It does sound like an inter-office.
I know.
This is written like in the Slack, like, hey, we just want to give some love to Dave.
Yeah.
Dave, can you
Just
come in
a
here real quick?
reminder, it's Dave's birthday and
That's
there's
right.
cupcakes in the kitchen.
Dave's been with us 22 years. We're really proud of the work Dave's been doing.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but Dave put out a show this year, Ahsoka.
Good for
How about
you,
that?
Dave.
Was Mandalorian also this year? 3? Season 3
That
was
was
this
this
year
year?
also?
Do
This
you
year.
think that when they get Dave a cake for his birthday, it's a cowboy hat shaped?
My fear
Oh, I hope so.
is
I
that
hope so,
like
too.
he is so over the cowboy hat, but he can't now. It's like his gimmick, and he can't let it go.
You can change it up, man.
He came to an event I hosted and he wasn't wearing the cowboy hat. And there was a part of me that was like, Uncanny Valley. I was like, is it him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody was
right.
like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
do
You're
I
like,
say
that's
hi?
not- That's not Dave Filoni.
He needs
this
to reinvent
David
himself
Filoni?
like Madonna. He needs to do something else. Like he
I
needs to
don't-
do
I
like
don't
a
think she's a
spinning
great
top
example.
hat or something like that, or like a sorcerer's cone.
Ooh.
I really like the Madonna of all polls. Like,
Yeah.
like of everyone, you like, Madonna's.
I was like, who
Who
regularly
reinvents themselves?
reinvents themselves?
I'd go Taylor Swift more. Like, she went from country to
been-
pop
She's got
pretty
eras.
hard.
She's got
Yeah, but
eras.
that was like 20 years ago.
Madonna's more recent than
No, but I'm saying even now when you see Madonna, you're like, what is she? Is she a tiger? I don't know. What's her face doing?
Yeah, Madonna's
That's
a-
fair.
she's still Taylor Swift has looked the same
Okay.
for years.
Madonna's a real
Madonna in the
ship of
80s, it was like
Theseus.
she's got dark eyebrows and platinum blonde hair.
Right.
Now she's a brunette. Now she's the queen
Right.
of reinvention.
like a virgin to like Ray of Light. Very
Yeah.
different Madonnas.
Yeah,
Totally fair.
super
All right.
different.
This is a very Thanksgiving table discussion we're having right now with a bunch of old people. Our good friend Dave Filoni is now Lucasfilm's Chief Creative Officer. CCO, which brings him into the development process much earlier, is what they were quoted as saying in this article, and he has a much more expansive capacity than his previous advisory duties. Sounds like AI spit out what his job title was. But this is a new job title, or new role at Lucasfilm. He already works directly with President Kathleen Kennedy. He's gonna keep doing that. And he also works with head of development, Carrie Beck.
So they were hurting for news and they released it because this is kind of like a nothing burger.
It's a little bit. It's kind of like I think there's several ways to look at this, right? You have Dave Filoni. He's been there for many years. He worked directly with George Lucas. They definitely want to keep him around.
Oh,
He's
so
had
they have to stroke his
successful-
ego every now and then by releasing a
Yeah, well,
headline
it's
about
like
him.
if you're not gonna move him into the role of like Kathleen Kennedy, if she's gonna stick around and keep leading Lucasfilm, if they're still kind of grooming him for that position, or like they want to keep him around, you want to increase the salary a little bit, and yeah, you give him a new title, you give him a pat on the back, you say, hey, great work, we really like the direction you're taking Star Wars, we want to keep you around, and it's also. It is a way to drum up a little PR and have a news headline and talk about, hey, here's all the great stuff we did this year.
To me, my first thought was Nothing Burger, and then I thought like, oh, they're just giving him a different corner office, and like and then I was like, well, they also had some bad news recently, and I feel like this is a good way to
distraction
drum up a bunch of people that are maybe mad at Star Wars to be like, okay, now I've got hope. Like this feels more like a stock conversation. Like we need our stocks to go up. We brought on Filoni as a more official way. We're going into 2025 or 2024 listening to you, and I do think Dave Filoni is one of the more him and Jon Favreau, I think, are the most consistent positives even amongst the fandom that's mad at Star Wars. They
Yeah,
can always
yeah,
go
yeah,
like,
you're
we
right,
do
you're
this.
right. We
So
like
to
this
me,
guy.
this feels like an article for people that are a little worried about Disney to go like,
Yeah.
no, but look at this. Because I don't think they expected the 100-year anniversary Wish to go as badly as optics are on it right now.
Right.
I think the Marvels was not what they anticipated.
Yeah, this is their 100-year anniversary for Disney.
Yeah.
It feels like a nice...
Yeah.
They've had a rough
Life
kind
vest.
of like...
Right,
yeah.
right.
It hasn't
This
been...
is, like when the news hits the internet that most of New Rockstars doesn't like sweet potatoes, you're going to announce that Coy and I are,
got a new
are
job.
head of
Titles.
host production
Yeah.
The Star
to
connoisseurs.
distract
Yeah.
from the sweet potato massacre.
Right.
Same job.
Yeah.
We're just going to be overseeing the potato distribution
Yeah.
around the company.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also think they recently, and I don't know if it's in the rundown if you guys had heard, but they dropped the biker movie that
Yeah, that
Austin
was
Butler and
really
Tom
weird.
Hardy, which
Biker
felt
Mice
like
from Mars?
It felt like but it felt like a guaranteed hit, right? Like it's got a great cast.
The bike riders, you have Austin Butler in it. You have Tom Hardy. You have Lady Villeneuve, whatever her name was from Jodie
Comer.
Jodie
Foster.
Comer. I was thinking of Killing Eve. It was like Villeneuve or whatever her name was.
But to me, dropping that is very much.
they're like not going to release the movie,
and so they're shopping it. It's done. So
it's a finished movie.
Have it in a lot
And it's just not going to make any money.
and the trailer's great. To me, it felt like they need
Is Mike
guaranteed
Nichols,
hits.
right?
Yeah.
Is his movie? Yeah.
I think they just don't want to be in the like maybe business.
Yeah. Jeff Nichols. Apologies to Mike Nichols.
Jack Nicholson.
Him. But
Yeah,
I think
just so strange.
I feel like they want only
A good
guaranteed
news story,
bangers.
yeah.
So I feel like that movie might have done like 20 million costing 10. I think they just want to be in the blockbuster business.
What
right
if
now.
Disney and Warner Brothers just traded movies? And Disney was like, you guys can have Acme versus Wile E. Coyote, and Warner Brothers will release the Bike Riders, and we'll just call it even.
If they buy Acme, that would be so.
I mean, what a move. What a move.
I can't believe we haven't
eventually,
heard-
you have to imagine eventually Disney will own the Looney Tunes, right?
Eventually.
Which is going to be so strange.
Yeah.
I think Apple might buy Warner Brothers.
Please. Oh, at Warner Brothers? They can have it. They can have it.
Because they've been so hungry for a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there was
and
all
they
the
do need
rumors that
more
like
stuff.
Iger was gonna sell Marvel or Star Wars or Disney to Apple.
I feel like
Apple
once that
needs
got
more
quiet, I
stuff.
started going like, Apple, Warner Brothers. Like I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I feel like the way they're kind of moving things and Zaslav being like, it's on fire, and he just like
One
lets-
of these won't be a thing in 50 years.
Yeah.
Is what I think.
And it's gonna be sweet potato casserole. Apologies to Andor, of course.
I was trying to
Not
get us a
mentioned at
DC
all in this
tangent.
article. I don't think they talked about Andor at all.
Oh.
Andor is the best thing that Star Wars has done in a long time.
Prepare for the bros to
You
come for you.
get me mad at me. It didn't have lightsabers. It didn't have the Force. It's fine.
Then you're not a real Star Wars fan,
That's
bro.
great. That's great. Hey, most
That
of the people.
was you guys.
I'm being
You doing
you.
an impression of you guys.
Most of the people who live in the Star Wars universe live the life of Andor, and they will never see a Jedi, and they will never see anything fun happen in their sad, miserable existence.
Sounds like a good show.
No, that's not the show. That's just life in Star Wars. That's when everyone's like, oh, I want to know what my past life was. It probably wasn't great. The chances are it wasn't great.
I feel like it's like the character Bill Burr plays is the most interesting Star Wars character
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
because it's like, that's a guy in Star
Yeah.
Wars. Like that's
Yeah.
way more fascinating
It's
to
a
me.
guy
than,
in
like,
Star Wars who got swept up in a genocide
and just has to
like,
cope
has to deal with that.
war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's life in Star Wars, baby. Here are your rations. Next, let's talk DC. Superman Legacy has gotten some big casting announcements, so let's dive into them with maybe the biggest one. One of the most known characters from the Superman universe, Lex Luthor, is going to be played by Nicholas Hoult.
Is he gonna shave his head?
Witness.
I mean, you have to have a shaved head, right?
I don't know. They've had like non-shaved
Well,
head Lex Luthor
not-
before.
Yeah, but the whole
like-
point of him having hair was so he could lose his hair.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And then they didn't until a post-credit scene and never picked up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they will have him shaved-headed. I think this
Yeah.
might be tying more into there's a lot of canon, especially in the 50s, where
Sure.
they grew up together, and them being similar ages. I think they're going to lean into that element, which I'm
Because
really
we had a
excited about.
young Lex Luthor in the Snyderverse, right?
Yeah.
And Jesse Eisenberg.
But they like met, and like it
Yeah.
didn't feel like there was any weight there personally from my
Yeah,
experience.
it never
just like
felt
shooting
like
Jimmy Olsen
Luthor
in
was
the
a
face.
real threat to Superman ever.
No.
In the Man of Steel, or it was just.
But Smallville, you play like the long game
Yes.
and their
Yeah.
relationship. I think Michael
Yeah.
Rosenbaum's the best.
Yeah,
Lex Luthor.
yeah.
Will this be like a Lex Luthor who is not villainous, maybe at all?
Oh, like he's a nice
He's
guy.
like he's moving towards his villain. He's not mustache twirling. I'm gonna buy all the property and sell houses there. Where he is like his goals are altruistic, and at some point he breaks bad, or is he gonna be like a straight up alien hating, like this isn't safe?
I think he'll be xenophobic, and I think he'll be like Kingpin, where it's like, this is my town, I'm protective of it, and what you represent is not like what I want.
And we don't know if tomorrow you're gonna change your mind.
So I think he fears power because he has power, and people that have power are most insecure about losing their power.
And he assumes Superman would have the same motivations as he does.
I honestly, like, there's been rumors of Brainiac. I honestly think that the situation that would make the most sense, especially with James Gunn, the way he loves to tell a story is found family, right? You look at Guardians, you look at Brightburn, you look at things he produces and, creates. He loves that found family element. So I think there's going to be the family he finds at the Daily Planet, which I think is like the main through line story and why it's so important to have Jimmy and Lois and all those things. But also the found family he finds in the Justice League that I think is going to already be formed. So all these casting announcements, I think people are like, oh, how are they starting a universe with all these people? I think it's going to be beautiful that
universe is going.
He joins the world, and that's his newfound family. But what's more opposite than that? Brainiac, who represents the clear, cold numbers of data, and he's an alien that is more akin to what Lex perceives Superman as. So I think Brainiac could be a great way to show, like, Superman is perceived by Lex as the thing that Brainiac actually is, and that's also a great commentary on AI that we're going through with the very studios that are making this movie. You're going to have a great commentary on, like, what it means to have that cold, bloodless productivity, and James Gunn, I definitely felt like Marvel was being commented on a bit with the creature that was made out of the High Evolutionary in Guardians 3, where it was like, oh, just remake it. Remake it. And now I think they can do that with Zaslav, who it's like, oh, what's the bottom line?
Right.
And so Brainiac can be this very cold, neutral, and then Lex could perceive Superman as just another alien invader. So I would make the story like the found family of Ma and Pa Kent established Justice League, him meeting the Daily Planet family, and then Brainiac representing all the things that Lex perceives Superman to be.
Gina, you disagree with all that?
No, I want to see who he's dating, who he's marrying.
Brainiac?
Yeah, Brainiac.
What is he for lunch?
What are you wearing? What are your hot takes on
Tom
potatoes?
Ford.
No, I agree. I also think we're gonna get his actual like motivation. To me, like the DCU is the best when we can understand the villain's motivations. Which is why Batman the Animated Series is still the best thing that DC has ever put forth, because in every episode you're like, oh my gosh. It's so tragic that like Mr. Freeze is why he was just trying to cure her. And I think that we'll get some Lex Luthor. We understand where he's coming from. And then the internet will empathize with him.
Sure.
They'll be like, well, bring back America when it was Lex Luthor.
Lex was right.
Bring back Lex's America.
I also think it's a good opportunity. Like, it's the definition of you either, die a hero or see yourself become the villain, because Nick Hoult went out for Batman and Superman, and now he's playing Lex.
Adorable.
And he also went out for Jon Snow and Prince Caspian. I love that an actor that clearly is this talented, who's always been like number 2 or number 3.
They want to find a space for him.
But I love that he's playing a guy that sees himself as number 2 to Superman.
I
love that,
hope
just from a Nick Hoult perspective,
I can never be Superman.
I hope he crushes it. I always think he's a little milquetoast. Sorry.
Really?
Did you watch The Great?
No.
He's a lot of fun in The Great.
Have you seen Mad Max Fury Road?
Yeah.
He's so much.
That's true. I feel like every time I see him, he's almost like an afterthought. Like, he's a lovely actor. I'm not craving him.
Warm
he's
bodies?
Not, yeah. I mean, see, as you're saying,
there's light happening in your eyes.
She's talking about when she sees him at Gelson's.
Yeah, when I
don't
see
like his attitude.
Toe shopper.
I'm like, what are you putting on your sweet potatoes,
She saw him
man?
buy sweet potatoes, and she was like, this guy can't.
This guy eats sweet potatoes.
He's always good. He is a good actor. He just sort of, to me, fades into the background a little bit. Like if we had like 50 people in a room and you're like, hey, who are the 50 best actors right now? I think
How big is this room?
I think one person would throw out his name and they would all be like, oh yeah. But like he's forgettable to me.
I liked him for a young, when we last year on the Breakroom, we were like Fantastic Four, and my theory of like I want young Reed and Sue and older Ben and Johnny, but my young Reed and Sue was hot on The Great. I was like, I want Nicholas Hoult and I want Fanning.
Oh, that's fun.
The two of them as Reed, like a young Reed and Sue, would be so great.
Well,
so
like,
great.
The Menu is also like such a different.
He was really fun in The
form of
Menu,
him. And it shows such a squirrely fun.
Yeah, and he played not a good person in The Menu. And
but this is why I want him to crush Lex Luthor. Like I want to see like rage. I want to leave like remembering that he was in this movie.
I loved the High Evolutionary as like like a full-on villain with no redemption, no like, my mommy didn't love me, so now I cut up animals. Just like a bad dude. I'm ready for a bad dude, Lex, who's like, we don't empathize with any of his motivations.
Oh, yeah,
and we just, you know, we hate corporate CEOs.
Yeah, you're right. I take back everything that I said. I take back everything
We
that I
love
said.
CCOs, not CEOs.
Not CEOs. Evan, did you want to say something? I felt like you were raising your hand.
Yeah, while
politely.
we're on this topic, I was wondering if you guys thought that with the commitment to being Lex Luthor, would that prevent Nicholas Hoult from being in the MCU? Would it, like,
as Beast, like
Wait,
returning as Beast?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He was a fine Beast.
I don't love
him as Beast,
this
honestly.
is what I'm saying. You don't or you do?
I don't love him as Beast.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think that he got to play Beast. I've always said Bryan Singer makes fun mutant movies, but he hasn't made an X-Men movie. And like they always put him in positions of like, why aren't you blue and furry? Well, because you got to show my face. I'm Nick Hoult. Like Jennifer Lawrence was always Jennifer Lawrence, and like Xavier could walk a ton by taking heroin or whatever they had that choice be. But like those movies weren't the characters. I don't blame him. I do. Yeah. I think he got a muddled series of scripts, and they had to do it their best.
Yeah. I mean, I think he could still. I think. Listen, these companies love nothing more than casting other, like, oh, now they have him, now we want him
because it's wrestling. We're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think he'll be Beast again. I think maybe he'll show up. Maybe it'll be a thing.
I think it'll be a cameo. I also think it's funny that he's playing a completely hairless man in one and a hairy man in the other. Just puts on the suit. It doesn't matter that he's bald.
That's life.
Yeah, but I think they could cast him as something else in the MCU, and it would just be like, you look a little bit like you might be related to. Never mind. They love doing shit like that.
You're adding another like Ralph Boder. You're like,
Never mind. Also cast for Superman Legacy, Skyler Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen. We think that's how
I'm going to be honest. I had a whole conversation about how I don't know who this guy is.
He was in Santa Clarita Diet. He's on The Righteous Gemstones. He's done Booksmart.
So Booksmart.
He's in so many Air Buddies movies.
He is.
The Air Buddies.
You should have led with that.
He looks like a golden retriever.
He does.
He is the human embodiment of Air Bud.
He's like a very cute looking boy.
He's got also real freckles.
Yes.
Like not like drawn on freckles. Like he looks like a comic version of Jimmy Olsen. Like when you go back and look and they have little circles drawn on him, you're like, oh, you're a real life comic book Jimmy Olsen come to life.
I'm gonna call it now. On the record, I think this is as good a casting as Downey Jr. as Iron Man or Ryan Reynolds as Venom.
Whoa!
I'm saying right now he's going to be the sneaky MVP of the movie. I love that they're going with David Cornsweet. I love that they're going with Nicholas Hoult. But this guy has that endearing golden retriever as a personality that you need as Superman's
Jimmy
pal.
Olsen
He's not Superman's friend, he's Superman's pal. This guy represents pal energy. They're not friends, they're pals.
So something terrible is gonna happen to him in this movie.
In the comics, he turns into a giant tortoise at times. He's got a crazy backstory with his family being richer than the Luthors and this whole crazy Metropolis rivalry. They could literally do a miniseries. Like the comics, there's a miniseries by Matt Fraction that's so good. It won a bunch of Eisners. It's like just the adventures of Jimmy Olsen as a side mission, and because of this quality of casting, that would work. That would sell. So this, I think we'll look back in 2025 and go oh, this was the moment that I'm actually more confident in the DCU than I've ever been. When James Gunn got brought on, I was like, okay, now you have my attention. This is literally Downey.
What if it's just a motion capture role and they're gonna CG Jimmy Olsen? And Jimmy Olsen will be like a cartoon.
He doesn't do anything interesting.
Oh, geez, Superman! He's just in the background typing. Yeah. I'm just really excited to see someone that looks like Jimmy.
What if Jimmy Olsen gets fired from the Daily Planet for inappropriate behavior?
What if he's
what if he's a bad boy Jimmy?
He's shot in the face as an unnamed character in a deleted scene. Well, I think, to be honest, I think Superman doesn't work unless Lois and Jimmy work. And I think that's something that we've really been missing out on in a lot of the reinterpretations is the humanity of Superman is through his friends and who he's protecting. And our eye line is Lois's love for him and Jimmy's friendship with him. So palship. But I think that we need the quality of actor like Rachel Brosnahan and Skyler here. So
my prediction is that Lex Luthor will drown Jimmy Olsen. Hold his head underwater until he's
and you
dead.
see the whole 4 minutes that it takes for him
it's
to
a brutal death,
die.
and it really establishes.
And that's how it opens. The movie opens, and you're like, "What is happening?"
And then it's 8 weeks earlier, and then we lead up to that moment.
Yeah, and you're like, "I hope they don't drown him."
I hope he gets away from this drowning.
Somehow at the last minute of those 4 minutes.
And there's a lot of fake drownings where he's like, "Oh, don't worry, Superman, I'll bob for these apples."
And then Superman breaks Lex Luthor's neck.
Yeah.
This is just like the comics.
Jimmy, how many times have we told you not to take a bath after you drank a full bottle of wine?
This is darker and grittier than I ever imagined.
Don't get in the hot tub, Jimmy. The alcohol has made your blood thinner. Some additional casting announcement. Sarah Sampaio?
Sounds good.
I don't know. Sarah Sampaio is Eve. Eve Taskmaster?
Taskmaster?
It's certainly not a play on Taskmaster.
Yeah, Eve Taskmaster? Is that real? Are you fucking with me, Evan?
It's literally someone who does tasks for Lex.
That's
like, I don't
this
know,
is like a
it's
comic book name,
Eve
right?
Tashmasher.
Okay. Sarah Sampaio as Eve Teshmasher. Luke, it sounds like I have a mouthful of marbles.
Eve Taskmaster, can you please go and get me some hot coffee, please?
Can you do some tasks, Tashmasher?
Eve Teshmasher, I was hoping you'd go with me to prayer.
This coffee is too hot.
She's gonna go by Eve.
Eve Teshmasher is Lex Luthor's assistant / right-hand person. His Girl Friday? Is that a good analogy? I do not know this character. I apologize.
She's
You know
kind of,
Eve
she's like his main lackey. She does a lot
This
more.
isn't
She's
the
like
woman that's in the movies all the time, right? That's like...
Is this your lady?
This is my lady impression.
I'm going to
do you
get you
remember,
coffee.
I forget the character's name in the Gene Hackman one, but that
Yeah.
right-hand man, it's like that for Lex.
Doesn't, and like in the Brandon
I
Routh one,
love
isn't
him.
there like a female...
Yeah. So
sidekick
that
to
similar
Lex Luthor?
energy, like that person
Okay.
that does like his dirty work in
Gotcha.
public and like runs the business when
Gotcha.
he's away.
Are they a thing?
The Gene Hackman one
It's always implied.
is
Kind of fun.
I'm blanking on
But
his
it's such a fun
name, but
role.
he's so
Yeah.
good. He's so good. He's such a
He's
wiener.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor.
Oh, what? Who's Lex Luthor? What's a Gene Hackman?
He's in the Superman comics. Ugh.
Long curly hair.
What's a
you know,
Gene
iconic.
Hackman? So
Well,
she'll
I
be
mean,
in
in
the
fairness
film.
to Taskmaster, Gene Hackman is almost as fake of a name.
It is. To be fair. You hear audition? Yeah, I'm a Gene Hackman. Ugh. A little bit less new news, but we'll cover it anyways. Venezuelan actress Maria Gabriela de Faria was cast as Angela Spica, the engineer? Spica?
Yeah, I think it's
engineer.
Spica. Maybe it's Spica?
Spica?
I'm confused by
Bisha?
all the words in this sentence.
I don't know. The engineer, this is a character from The Authority, which we know they're going to do an Authority project. Live action?
Live action, which is
Live
why,
action Authority
again,
project?
I think the engineer being in this, one, establishes the Justice League tone that I was talking about, that the things are already established,
Yeah.
and it gives us a great gateway sequel, but also... To be honest, that's when I thought I was like, man, this does work for Brainiac. Like an AI, a robotic element that's already introduced, like something that feels alien. So I think the engineer coming in all but confirms that.
Yeah.
And I don't think she'll be the main antagonist because then she can't go away for the movie she's in that's setting it up.
Right, they're going to kill her.
So but
That's
it's
a
like
good
she's already the
sign.
antagonist. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
gonna be like a hench level.
Okay.
She better at some point say, I'm here to get this train back on the tracks because I'm the engineer.
Choo choo.
Choo.
Yeah, choo choo, bitch.
That's her
Does she
catchphrase.
roll with the conductor?
I had a question about this too, because with the Authority movie that's coming up, and also all the other casting that we know, with Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and Metamorpho, I think there were some concerns that maybe that too much is being set up here for the rest of the DC slate. Do you guys have any thoughts about that?
Like they're trying to set up a big world too quickly,
too
or
many
like
characters, or
Yeah,
okay.
like should they have gone the Iron Man route and said like love him first and then
I don't
you'll
think
care
Iron Man
about
works
the
since
other
2008.
ones?
Like I don't think you get to make a superhero movie without cameos or Easter eggs for internet
lot
networks
of-
to make videos of.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. It depends on
no
how.
complaints.
But you
no
know what I mean?
complaints
Like,
on our end.
but you-
Yeah,
that's
it
the-
depends
that's the
on
culture
how
now.
much they're in it, right?
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
they each have their own storyline, that's way too much. But if it is like a little sprinkling,
I think
I'm
you
here
meet
for a
them here
sprinkling.
to start the universe.
Yeah, I'm here for a sprinkling.
Yeah.
I think a couple lines, and I think a big scene where we see a league assembled, and like that allows us to launch the
Yeah.
universe. Because if you're trying to build this as quickly as you need to, because of where Warner Brothers is, and because of what James Gunn doing, how rapid his timetable is, I think you need to go like, oh, that guy. Remember we saw him for that 1 second, and then his movie or show.
But they also like run the risk of doing the Martian Manhunter thing, right? Where
Right.
it's like, did you realize that's Martian Manhunter? And then they're like, what happened to this series? Oh, we're not doing that anymore. Okay. Like if
yeah.
the movie doesn't do
actually
well,
go, yeah.
then everyone's like, you just spent a whole lot of money on guest
Yeah.
stars who were in it for like 1 minute
if-
and then like
yeah,
if it doesn't
never
do well,
appeared
then
again.
Warner Brothers definitely gets
Yeah.
sold out.
If the engineer is lame, right? Are you like, well, I don't care about the Authority now. The engineer was lame.
Yeah,
I hated
yeah.
it. And-
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, when they were like, we're gonna do a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it was like, okay, That's weird. No one knows his characters, and you're going to put 7 characters in the movie at once. And, like, he did it, and he pulled it off really well, right? So I think it's very possible that he could pull this off.
Faith in the
Suicide Squad was great. A lot of characters there.
Yeah, you're right.
He needs a lot of characters.
And that was like a fake out, too. It was like, look at these. Oh, he's dead.
Like if we
cared quickly, and now they don't have to die, and now they can be in other movies.
Yeah, I mean, I was bummed when they all died. I was like, hey, Nathan Fillion. Oh no.
But now we get to keep Miss Guy Gardner as opposed to him being arm fall off boy.
That's true.
There you go. Any other thoughts on Superman Legacy with all this news? For me personally, I'm excited. Let's see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I just noticed that the animated Justice League is back on Netflix, so I will be rewatching that for the 90th time.
Oh boy!
I relate everything back to cartoons, guys.
I don't think that there's been a movie with this much weight on it since Endgame.
Yeah, I mean this is
an entire universe.
If it doesn't work, they do have a lot of problems.
And if it doesn't
the industry is shut down if it doesn't work.
I mean, not to be
shut Hollywood down.
Yeah.
The number, I would say Warner Brothers is 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Biggest studio. And they're putting this basket as their main basket. And this movie is the domino that starts it. Yeah. So I think that this is the highest stakes you could play at. But everything that I've heard about it has me more hopeful, not less.
Yeah.
No pressure, Bugs Bunny.
No pressure.
That's his studio. He owns it.
He owns Warner? I thought the Warner Brothers and their sister Dot.
I mean, it's been a real power struggle for the last 20 years.
Yeah. In other DC update news, the Penguin is filming again.
I was going to ask what you had to say about that.
They got that baby going again. That was already filming before the strike. They took some time off. I don't know if Colin Farrell had to keep on the weight. I don't know. Tough stuff.
He probably loved it.
We did learn too that the Penguin is taking place 1 week after the Batman.
I hope he's been moisturizing. I hope he's been moisturizing.
He's a penguin. He's got slippery skin. Penguins have lots of little feathers, right? They still have feathers. They got feathers.
I thought they had like seal skin.
No, I think it's like feathers that are
when they're babies, they have
fluffy
feathers.
Yeah, they're fluffy. But I think the feathers. If you're a penguintologist, call in.
Zoologist, please call in.
Or a penguin.
Yeah. Do you think this? Will we see the Batman on this show ever?
I hope not.
No, I think there will be like in the distance. You'll be like, "What was that? Was that a light? Did we see a light?" Yeah.
Maybe we'll probably see a Batarang, right?
I mean, maybe a finale. Maybe the finale sets up the Batman 2. Maybe
like a henchman comes running in like, God, boss is here.
Yeah. Or like there'll be like just a random business card, like a black business card, and he'll be like, "What's this?" And it'll hit the light, and you'll see like a little black embossed.
What about?
And then he's like, "Let me see Paul Allen's card."
What about Bruce Wayne? Do we see Bruce Wayne?
I think it's more likely we see Bruce Wayne as the person rebuilding Gotham, and that way we establish, because we haven't met Bruce Wayne yet. The shell of Bruce Wayne.
He's not taking over the company.
Because I love that Pattinson developed the Batman personality first, because he didn't need Bruce Wayne to exist really yet. He's a shell. Yeah. So I think maybe seeing Bruce Wayne develop, and that would be really cool, because we haven't really met the Penguin. We've met Oswald Cobblepot. Yeah. So maybe as Penguin's developing the underworld, Bruce Wayne's developing the overworld, and they're basically parallel before the Batman 2, and we meet a more fleshed out Bruce Wayne. Like, that'd be a more interesting story for me.
Again, I don't think we'll meet Bruce Wayne, but I do think it'll be like there's a Wayne Foundation fundraiser tonight. Right. I think his stamp will be on things, even though we don't actually see
Wayne Enterprises will buy the factory next door.
Yeah, exactly.
Oswald will be pissed.
Exactly.
He'll pick up a hot pot, fuse his fingers together. He's like, I got penguin hands!
Yeah, exactly.
He's read the script. He knows.
Exactly.
I just know, like, long-form crime saga filling out a Gotham backstory is genius, because Batman the Animated Series, we have so much history of TV working so well for Batman. I think Penguin show is genius.
Yeah. I'll ask if it'll be necessary viewing, but of course it is. You gotta watch everything.
Yeah.
I think it'll be necessary to the corner of DC, but not to
you think it'll tie into the Batman 2? Are they gonna call it the Batman 2?
I see,
but the Batman 2, but like TOO. I think the Batman 2 and Joker, and Penguin are all going to be over here.
Yeah.
Joker and Joker 2 over here, James Gunn over here, but I think that's a lot better for audiences.
Sure.
If you don't want to see Superman, you don't have to worry about Penguin, and vice versa.
I do think that they eventually need to tie them all together, but I think it's still sort of too early.
No, because the Batman's a child. In Joker, Batman's like 7.
Right, but
watching the Batman, imagining like Superman flying into that Gotham would be so silly.
Because they're gonna cast like a Jensen Ackles type for the Batman of the James Gunn verse, whereas like Pattinson's gonna be like it's still
He's in
over
his
there.
feelings, dude.
Yeah, he's still playing MCR. That's not going to work in there. I don't want to see Pattinson raising a child over, like he might have a ward, but not a child. Damian Wayne and Pattinson.
That's the way you gotta get out of this house.
That's why it's not
Did
going to work.
Catwoman die? I don't remember.
No, they rode off at the end.
They rode off at the end.
And she's heading to Alleytown, and then they mentioned Bloodhaven. So
Alleytown?
Alleytown's where
For the
Catwoman
cat?
runs. Selena Kyle
Yeah,
runs
where would you expect
Alleytown.
her to live, man?
I forget how silly
The names are silly.
Because
Catwoman runs
Nightwing's
Alleytown.
over in Bloodhaven.
Bloodhaven. B-L-U-D.
Why would you live in Bloodhaven?
And it's worse than Gotham. And it's name dropped at the end, so that means Nightwing is a possibility.
I still want Robin to come to Gotham City in a circus. Like, it would just feel so silly.
In that movie, like a Schumacher circus.
Mom and Dad, no!
Oswald's like, I'm gonna kill his fucking family on a high wire. What are you showing me?
I would love the end of the Penguin like a circus is announced.
Yeah.
Like that's how it ties into Batman
that's what I
too. Like
think it's
Penguin
gonna
gives an
be.
invitation to the circus.
Yeah.
He's like, this is
Listen up, boys. We're gonna throw a little party. I got the Flying Graysons coming in, huh? And if they don't do a good job, I'm gonna blow their fucking brains out.
But how great would it be if the Penguin introduces like ventriloquist and all the characters that won't work in the movie?
Oh, yeah,
like, all the
yeah.
mafia
Yeah.
guys.
Hey, we got the Mad Hatters coming over for a little tea party.
Amazing. It'd be so great. Like Professor Pig shows up and he's just like a doctor that likes like doing plastic surgery on people.
Hell yeah.
The guy selling hot dogs turns out to be Condom Man.
If Kite Man shows up in either universe, I will be.
I want like hardcore in his feelings, Kite Man.
Oh, just
in the
fucking
Batman.
vibe. He's also listening to Nirvana though, so him and Batman like identify.
Yeah. No, he's listening to like
Carly
Puddle
Rae
of
Jepsen.
Mud or something like that.
Ooh, some new metal.
Hey, don't you
grunge.
besmirch
Oh, I love
CRJ.
Carly Rae, but I love
Thank
Kite
you.
Man. I respect
Thank
them
you.
both.
Thank you. Before we keep going through our headlines today, we want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor today, and that's Boxu. They're sponsoring this episode of The Break Room. You know all about Boxu. It's these premium Japanese snack boxes that you
Upside
get.
down.
It's these premium Japanese snack boxes that you can get sent to you each and every month. They've got authentic Japanese snacks from family businesses all over Japan. You get all these great snacks. Each little box is themed. It has a little booklet. The booklet's great. They printed it on very nice paper. It's got lovely images. It tells you more about the snacks, where they're from, what's inside of them, because you can't probably read the label unless you can read Japanese. So it's very helpful. Your first box you get of any Boxer subscription is Seasons of Japan. And after that, you receive a new theme each and every month with curated seasonal snacks. This is a great gift for any foodie you know, or a great gift for this foodie with two thumbs. Yourself in that
You
scenario.
want them to buy you.
Yeah,
Please.
he's asking for bucks.
Yeah.
You can sign me up for a box subscription, folks. But you know the holidays are around the corner. This is a great little snack. It's the gift of authentic Japanese snacks. You can support our channel. Click the link in the description below and use code Rockstars to get $15 off your first Boxu order. That's code Rockstars for $15 off your first order. Link in the description below. Check them out. Thank you, Boxu. Hey, you can't walk around in public without a shirt on? So check out nerdriot.shop for a ton of great merch to celebrate some of the recent Marvel releases.
What?
You can do it, but you'll get looks. You'll get looks.
It depends where you are,
It's
what
always
season.
weird. It's always
When
weird.
did this happen?
I mean,
Societally.
legally, you can do it.
There's signs that even like
There's a
announce
code.
that, and shoes are
Yeah,
mandatory.
no service.
Yeah, that's just not a thing you can do.
If you're in the town I grew up in Florida, you probably aren't wearing a shirt. Probably also not shoes.
But you moved for a reason.
But you moved. We all got away.
Now you can't go into a Carl's
Don't
Jr.
you always think
half
it's
naked
weird?
anymore.
It's true. It's so weird when
What
you
kind
go
of
to,
Waffle House is this?
It's weird when you're at the beach and you go into like a McDonald's
And there's
like,
just half-dressed
Yeah, people
and
are
you're like-
half-dressed
and they're like
sand
sticking
on the
to the
floor.
vinyl, like when they
Ugh.
like peel themselves off stuff.
It's so weird.
They need Nerd Riot shirts.
Yeah, you need a Nerd Riot shirt, you freak. Check out nerdriot.shop. We got some awesome Loki merch on there, including a new shirt, The God of Stories, to celebrate the finale. We also have that show ended. What fun.
I like it.
And we got Flurkin shirts. I don't have my Flurkin shirt to show you. There it is. Look at it. It's
Yay!
adorable. I really love this shirt. It's great. Cats are great, guys. And Flurkins are great. Check out our Black Friday sale, which is running right now and through Monday, October.
That was the end of November.
Take me back. Take me back. Right now through Monday, November 27th, buy one thing on our holiday page. Just one thing. I dare you. And you get the second one for 15% off.
What?
That's more than sales tax, folks. That's a good deal.
You get 5% and the sales tax free.
Wow.
If you're like me and you got family living in states with cheaper sales tax,
buy it for them and then ship it over
there. Come on.
New Hampshire.
Check back on Cyber Monday for some additional extra deals as well. Grabbing a tee from nerdriot.shop is a great way to support the Breakroom, so either click the link in the description or head on over to nerdriot.shop right now after this video. All right. Now on to some Marvel news. The WandaVision Blu-ray is out. That's right, physical media. One day, Apple might buy Disney Plus and shut it all down. But if you have the physical media, they can't take away your WandaVision. On this Blu-ray are some deleted scenes, some of which have made it online. So let's check out a couple of them right now as I put this earbud in. Beep, boop, beep, beep. We'll see if this works. Let's check out the first scene that we got.
Female body inspector.
Ma'am, are you injured?
No, I'm not handsome, but I could always use some mouth to mouth.
This is weird. I'm glad they deleted
Agatha
this scene.
Yeah.
I'm glad they deleted it because it's weird to put the music and the laughing back into the show.
Yeah.
Because they're out of the show.
Yeah, like what's the reality
I mean,
here?
she's still hexed in her mind. So maybe in her mind, she's hearing it and seeing it.
And maybe in the longer edit would have flowed, but it felt really weird out of context.
Yeah.
Someone in our Slack pointed out, too, that, like, didn't they just watch this woman fly
away
across the sky?
Yeah.
No, this specific woman on the bench was flying around shooting stuff out of her
maybe
hands.
maybe the FBI guys like don't remember that though. Maybe like they
got Men in Black like neural.
No, they all remembered, right? Because she's like, okay, I'm gonna leave now, and they're all like, get the fuck out of here. We're gonna beat you up.
It was 2 years ago. I'm trying to. You're right. So yeah, they just saw actual witchcraft, and then Catherine Hahn's like, "Hi, I'm Catherine Hahn."
Hi, none of you know me. I've lived in this town the whole time.
That's true. Where's she gonna go and live? Isn't that someone's house?
She can go live in the house Wanda was living in. Or no, she's
gonna live in the Coven of Chaos.
I don't know.
She's heading to the Coven of Chaos because it was Agatha.
She's gonna be the first houseless person in Westview.
Oh, okay.
Don't call that show Agatha All Along after naming it 100 things, then I will have the same level of faith as the internet.
They will rename it to that.
They've got
think
to.
It's pretty.
It's such a funny joke.
Yeah.
If they don't, though.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that. All right, let's check out the next one. I hope it's just the word ankle bracelet. Oh, we can't hear it anymore.
I can hear it.
Oh, I can't. There he is.
Boner.
That would cause it to go off, I assume, right?
Yeah, if you remove it, it goes off.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, more boner.
I mean, we had this theory, right?
That there was, there were a few things on this show where it's like, this is going to be a big deal.
And
like, The guy is looking for the astrophysicist friend, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a theory that, yes, he was looking for Ralph Bohner. I again, speaking of 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Ralph Bohner lives in this neighborhood, or has come to this neighborhood.
No, I think
he lives in this neighborhood. He's an actor who lives in this neighborhood.
But if he's the missing witness,
well,
I think he's been hiding out here, hasn't he?
I take that to mean that like he's missing because the hex formed. Because remember, they didn't know about the hex until.
I see.
Jimmy Woo showed
up. I mean, I
up.
guess if he has an ankle bracelet on, they knew where he was.
Right.
Which would mean have to be in that town. Or
and I think I assume that the hex caused whatever signal was coming from the ankle bracelet to be interrupted.
It's really cold of Agatha to not be like, let me just take care of this for like she made him wear it that whole time.
He had an ankle bracelet as Ralph Bohner.
God, that's terrible.
She doesn't want him running off.
Was he still wrapping it in a paper bag when he showered?
Listen, Agatha respects the law.
She should have zapped it off with her magic wand.
No, he did her dirty.
It is fun to have some context, but I think it's better as a mystery.
Yeah, I think there's a reason they deleted those two scenes.
He also looked weird.
Very different. Like, was that a
Wasn't
reshoot?
his hair longer on the show?
Yeah. And they
that
made
definitely
him
looked
come
like additional photography.
Now I need to go back and watch a lot of it. It might have been CG hair the whole time.
Oh.
It was CG hair all the
they removed Superman's mustache. They added hair.
Yeah.
He's got like Little Mermaid hair, which is like flowing constantly. Beautiful.
Oh, just like in Inhumans.
It also seems like we got some sneaky Marvel news. Maybe this was like a leak from the inside, or not from the
It's
inside.
coming from inside the Marvel.
So, Invincible creator Robert Kirkman confirmed in an interview with comic artist David Finch that Steven Yeun is playing Sentry.
I don't think he was supposed to confirm this.
No, I don't think he was supposed to. He even says he wasn't supposed to. We were going to read off this quote, but producer Evan thought it was such a fun moment that we'll play it for you now.
Oh.
Check out Robert Kirkman spilling the beans.
Beans.
My good friend Steven Yeun is playing the Sentry in a movie.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. That's coming up. That's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, he called me. He went in for a costume fitting. I hope I'm not. I don't think this is a spoiler or anything that'll get anybody in trouble. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I don't care. I work for Marvel. What are they going to do to me? He called me and he said, I just came back from a costume fitting for the Sentry. I guess I only do superheroes that are yellow and blue. He said he was at the costume fitting and was like, oh, crap. I forgot Invincible was yellow and blue.
I love how Robert Kirkman seems like he's like your weird brother-in-law that like you only see at Thanksgiving, and like you don't really have anything in common, and he's just like, so how's it out in Hollywood? And you're like, it's pretty good, Bob. How's it out in like the oil drilling place where you work? And he's like, well, let me tell you. And you're like, strap in. This is going to be a long conversation with my brother-in-law, Bob Kirkman.
That dude knows so much about comics that I love that he's the guy to lead. Like, the fact he worked at Marvel forever. He was a writer at Ultimate X-Men. So I love the idea that, like, that is his aura. And, like, but in here is just
like anytime you see him, he just seems like a dude that's like, he's like,
I invented The Walking Dead and Invincible, but he's like, you know what? Because if you didn't know what Kirkman looked like, you wouldn't stop that guy and be
right.
Walking Dead fan?
Yeah.
And technically, if you're Marvel, you can now like sue Steven Yeun, who went and talked about a costume figure.
Oh,
like,
crap.
It's funny for Robert Kirkman to be like, Marvel can't do anything to me. It's like, no shit, they can do something to the guy.
That's in both of your shows. The yellow and blue hero that you share.
This was like a long-standing rumor, though. I think as soon as Steven Yeun was announced for Thunderbolts, either the rumor was that he was playing Sentry, or like everyone assumed he was playing Sentry.
Because there's no way the assumption of Steven Yeun, who's a slighter guy, like he's like a buck 70.
Sentry is a big.
He's a Fabio guy.
Sentry is like a Superman. In Marvel. Marvel created him in like the 2000s when they were pretty much bankrupt, and they were like trying to make some new edgier characters. I think he came out like under a different imprint of Marvel, and then they eventually like brought him in.
Ironically, that's when Kirkman was writing at Marvel.
In this era. He's just jealous. He's trying to bury Sentry. But he's a very interesting character, very strange, very weird, and they're kind of throwing him into the Thunderbolts movie because he was a character created by. Here we go again, the Super Soldier Serum, when they were trying to make a knockoff, they're trying to recreate it.
Yeah.
He was like a meth head, which I think was a very funny, he was like a bad teen, basically.
Yeah.
He drinks this juice, becomes like a super soldier, because they like Oppenheimered the Super Soldier program, where they have all these like facilities trying to recreate it. He breaks in trying to get some more drugs, and he takes the worst drug, the Super Soldier Serum. He becomes the Sentry. The Sentry has like an also creates an alternate personality, the Void, who tries to undo every good thing he's doing. I don't know. The Thunderbolts movie is already basically a bunch of super soldiers and Ghost. I like Ghost. I do like Ghost. I want more powers on. I just don't want a bunch of
just
like, super soldiers.
Well, that's clearly how Sentry comes to be. He's gonna take
but
the same
like,
super soldier
serum. Are we really doing this? Super soldier serum again?
After 6 months
of but here's the thing. It's all about it. Like, it could also be a way for them to be like, it's not about the powers, it's about the personality and the actor and how they're written. Maybe this is like their way to shift it away from just like, here is their power, this is what they do. Maybe they're like, now you got like different shades of gray on actors. And...
To me, it seems like a linear. Sam Wilson doesn't have the super soldier serum, so what happens when people that are using it for ill get it? I think they're going to offer him the super soldier serum, and then he doesn't take it, and then all the Thunderbolts take it, which is why they're all super soldiers effectively. Sentry takes it. We see that absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's a
You think this will be a Sentry origin?
Yeah.
They're not going to do that weird thing where it was like...
He's been Sentry
in the comics, Sentry had been around since like the 80s.
Yeah.
But his alter... because he has the alter ego of the Void, so he's like, I gotta destroy it, so I gotta destroy everyone's memories, and like he creates a device on top of Avengers Tower, which like wipes everyone's memory. And I mean,
I'd be so pissed.
Captain America, Thor, no one remembers who he is, and then they all start remembering again.
That's just a device to make a hero relevant because it's like he's been here the whole time.
Yeah, he's so important.
Yeah.
This guy.
But I don't think they'll do that. I think it's gonna be an origin. I think it's gonna be a.
So it's gonna be like a Heckle and Jide, he said.
Heckle and Jide.
Heckle and Jide.
It's like a ska band.
Yeah.
Heckle and Jide.
Jekyll and Hyde scenario where he gets a super soldier serum and like he's good, but he's also bad.
I think that's why there's.
Well, they do the Void.
You
is what I'm
described
saying.
Jekyll and Hyde. That's like this is a Hulk movie as much as it's a Cap movie.
Right.
So it's going to be Jekyll and Hyde at the Hulks. It's going to be him as a commentary.
Because you
that
think
can
we'll
happen.
have Red Hulk here.
Well, I think that's
Post
oh, yeah,
Brave
100%.
New World.
But it's also going to show that you can have a Hulk scenario with a super soldier. Basically, Sentry's going to represent the Hulk of super soldiers, and Sam Wilson's going to represent this ultimate good that doesn't even need the serum to be Cap. And so it's a I don't know. It kind of feels like a pretty linear plot. So I'm hoping there's a little more to it.
Power Broker? Will we see the Power Broker involved in any of this?
Yeah, they teed up the Power Broker too much to
drop that.
Really? I think they would drop it like a hot potato if they wanted to. I don't know. I don't trust them to like keep anything going.
Yeah, like
I feel like if they're in this position, I think right now they feel like we can do whatever we want.
You'll see the TVA and they'll be like, "What about the variants of the Power Broker?" And they're like, "Don't worry, we're keeping an eye on the Power Broker, and if they make a move, we'll let you know."
Yeah, they'll have a line.
We'll never
like
hear
that,
about him again.
And they'll bring back Dancing Bear and Zemo because that did well on TikTok.
I could see like if you use the Power Broker, I want Zemo back so bad. I want Zemo back. Zemo will come back. Zemo use the Power Broker, and like the Power Broker creates the Sentry, and like. You know, the Shield's not around, right? The DDoC is like, we have no way of stopping this. And, you know, Val's like, I got a way of stopping this. And she puts together the Thunderbolts to try and like fight Sentry. Because maybe Sentry is causing a lot of problems. He has the power of 1,000,000 suns? Is it 1,000,000, 1,000? He's got a power of a bunch of suns.
I think once you
He
get
is
over
literally
12
like a
suns,
Superman.
it's all the
It doesn't
same.
matter.
It's just
Also, one sun, enough power. I think we can all agree. It could do the damage. And I think she'll put together this team and they'll fight Sentry. If that's how they want to use Power Broker, use it that way. I don't think we'll see I don't think we'll have any Void. I think they'll skip
I think we'll have Void.
You think you will have Void?
Because that's the Hulk side of... I think it's a very linear Hulk as super soldier, so they'll use the Hulk element as the big bad. I think my concern with the Void is they'll overuse it to the point where that's going to be in it more than Sentry, and the people that love Sentry are going to be like, wait, it's a Void movie. Because it's going to be the evil side. Like, you don't have a more
Is Sentry the villain in this?
Yeah. And I think
you mean the main villain?
The main villain.
And then I think that Sentry has to sacrifice himself at the end.
So, one and done?
Yeah. There's no way that kind of power gets to stay.
You think that they would do that with Stephen Yeun, though?
He's so OP.
Yeah,
like,
he's too much
such
power.
An OP character.
It's like Captain Marvel. They took her power away
but-
by having her exchange power with the other two.
But Yeun is a big name right now, and I think they would want to hold on to him rather than risk releasing him into the wild.
Sure.
And he gets cast in Batman Brave and the Bold or something like that.
Yeah, like I think they always want to hold on to big names as much as they can for as long as they can.
I mean, they could have them come back in Secret Wars and then go away when they just obsolete the whole universe.
Yeah.
Bring back a lot of fun characters. We'll have the Power Broker, have Sonny Birch come back, Mitchell Carson, the dude in Ant-Man 1 who stole the PIM particles.
I want to see. There's so
have
many.
all these characters that are running around. They all get together.
There are
and
so
they're
many
like, let's
places
make
you
a
can
super
dump
soldier,
him.
and they make Sentry.
There are so many places you can dump him. You can put him in the Cube. Put him in one of the billion prisons that they have.
The Cube.
Put him in the Raft. The animated series starts with all of them breaking out of all of them. So, I think you still want them as an option.
She brought it back to animation. She said she would.
I did.
She promised.
Hasn't the Marvel shown us that they should have a prison called the Vet, where like it's a bunch of flurkins in cages
just waiting,
and they swallow. That's where you store people.
I would visit that prison for fun.
And like it's like a normal like vet or pet store like on Main Street, like ding-a-ling-a-ling, you
Sam
walk
Jackson's
in.
working the front desk. It's just a guy with an eye
Nick,
patch.
people are like, have you ever noticed there's always like DDoC agents wrangling some gentleman into the veterinary office?
Nah, you're just paranoid.
And they're just like, you're going in the flurkin. It's a good way to store villains.
It is. It is.
The end. Lastly, Taika Waititi said that Chris Hemsworth is in talks for Thor 5.
Oh, let that poor man eat a sandwich already.
This is... I don't even know what this headline is. No shit.
I feel bad for him. I think he probably wants to be like a little chubby lazy boy every
Chris
now
Hemsworth,
and then, and like it's so much work to keep up that physique.
I don't think he'll be as shirtless. Like he
I
said
think-
very clearly on his have you seen that National Geographic show? He's like, I'm getting bigger than I ever have, and it's not healthy. I don't want to ever do this again. I was like,
he's gonna be Drax wearing a vest all the time.
I do know
by
that
all
like in the
means,
first like
please.
3 seasons of Arrow, they were like Stephen Amell shirtless, and then he was like, no,
I'm
guys,
producer
like,
now.
I want a carb
tough.
every once in a
Yeah.
while.
I feel so bad for Hugh Jackman because he retired so he could eat a burger,
Oh,
and then he was
God.
retired for 5 years, and then he
Yeah.
came back, and then there was a strike for 6 months. So like he lost the weight, got shredded, and now he's got to like
But maybe-
re-shred at 50.
Maybe this is like the how they say that like
was doing
women
music, man. He was
who
staying in shape.
women
Cardio.
who like have a baby like forget the pain
Right.
and then like that's when they get pregnant, and like maybe this is like the dude version of that. Like they get shredded and they're like, oh God, this is terrible. I'm in pain all the time. I have to rehydrate and then dehydrate. I can't eat. I haven't eaten a bun in like 8 years. And then like they like go back to normal, and then they're like, you know what, that was pretty fun.
I think they just want to get bigger though. Like like Zac Efron in Baywatch, he's like, I'll never get those abs again. And then in Iron Claw, he's like, I'll be the Hulk.
Well, it's
so I
also-
think it's just like, what if I get differently crazy?
The tech keeps changing too, right? It's like, oh, now we have this drug that we can inject you with, and it makes it much easier. You're like, well, I'll
and
give
just
that.
the way
I'll
we
give
see
that a shot.
nutrition shifts all the time,
Right.
and like
Yeah.
the way that they train, and like it's a lifestyle for him,
Yeah.
which is the only reason I think he's a little bit healthier about it. Is he lives at probably 14% body fat, so dropping down to 10 is not as
Yeah.
crazy as people that live
Yeah.
like people. And
But
are
it's even
like,
wild. You go back and you look at the first X-Men, right? With a
Jackman's
young
a
Hugh
dude.
Jackman. They would never cast that dude in a movie. And he was in great shape.
Yeah,
for that.
he was in
Granted,
great
he had to
shape,
get
yeah.
in shape real quick because he
yeah,
was like
I
a
think he
last
had like
minute.
3 months, and
Yeah,
he was
he
just
was
like,
like
I'm a
kind of a
shirtless
last
guy.
But like,
yeah.
and he looks great in X-Men too. But like each one, he gets more
Yeah, he
insanely
gets- he
ripped
gets
as he's
more
getting
ripped.
older.
I think it's why he has sleeves on his Wolverine outfit.
Right.
Because he's
Oh,
like,
the most definitely.
you know what I mean? I just feel like that's for Hugh.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him.
Please, you've done it, dude. We're
We've seen
fine.
Days of Future Past
We're
and your
fine.
veins and your
Yeah.
abs.
Yeah, like just work it into your contract that you're
Yeah.
not shows. I remember the story of like real quick. I remember the story of like Arnold Schwarzenegger going to see the movie 300 and like sitting with the director, and afterwards the director was like, "What did you think?" And he was like, "It was so great. I need you to like tell me what their workout regimen was." And they were like, "Oh, bro, that was CGI. Like
just
those
painted.
aren't real abs." And like he said, like Arnold was like so crushed. Like imagine being a man in his 60s who
Yeah.
had wrecked his body for years and
then you watch
and
him
then
do
like
it in
you watch it
post.
and you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, wow, they're like revolutionizing it. And then the director is being like, nah, bro, we let them be like eat whatever they want and be lazy. We went in and put those abs in. And
That would
Arnold was probably
crush
like,
me.
what?
I just saw an interview with Arnold. I don't know if it was Howard Stern or Stephen Colbert. Very recently, he's doing a tour right now for something he was promoting, his book.
Mm-hmm.
And it was depressing, dude, because he was like, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm hideous. It's like, it's just so painful to
poor
see myself
baby.
age.
Oh,
and he countered that with like, I'm very healthy now and I'm taking care of
Yeah.
myself. But he's like, you can tell that like a man who spent his life
Yeah.
like
Perfecting.
sculpting his body. He's like, I can't do anything to fix it. He's like, I'm flabby. It's pathetic.
I cannot imagine.
I can't do anything.
Body
And it's like-
dysmorphia is so bad in people that
Right.
bodybuild anyway. I can't imagine
Yeah.
aging as a
Yeah.
bodybuilder and being in the public
Yeah.
eye.
And
on
also
top
like
of it,
watching your old movies
Yeah.
and like
And being
being
known
able
for
to
that.
Right,
see like when you're
aging
Ugh.
so scary as it is, add the public eye and then add bodybuilding to that.
Yeah. Tough
Yeah.
stuff.
Speaking mortality and sweet potato fries.
Yeah. Taika Waititi will not return for Thor 5. That's also the other part.
because he
of
wants
that
to go
story.
eat a burger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Taika's having great meals right now.
Yeah,
He's just
yeah,
living
yeah.
he's watching his soccer movie, just housing burgers.
Housing burgers and a thruple, having a great time, folks.
Living his best life.
Living it up. He doesn't care what you thought of Thor: Love and Thunder. He's done with you assholes.
No, he's living like he's living the superhero life as soon as they wrap,
Yeah, yeah.
whereas everybody else is on camera.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
doing his thing.
Listen, I'll always love Taika Waititi for giving me that great meme of him showing a tablet to Hela. And people are like,
it's so good.
Me showing my wife memes after she was at work all day, where he's just like, and he's 2 feet below her. She's all
She's just
dressed
a goddess
And she's
towering
like
over.
she's so statuesque.
He's in like a
"Her."
t-shirt. He's like, oh, look at this. I love that fucking meme.
This is why every comedy man thinks they can date a 10.
So good. I mean, that's literally me when I come home to my wife and she's been working hard all day. And I was like, it's real tough today. We had this long talk about Joker 2. And it was just really
I was
frustrating.
tweeting so long my thumbs hurt.
And then she's like, do you want to go see the Marvels? I was like, well, I already went to a screening, so I guess not. She's like, God, you've taken everything away from me. Anyways.
That's why we date up.
That's why I did it up, dog.
Same.
Hey.
Gotta date up for that humility off camera.
That's right. Hey, what a great show we had today, folks. I think you can all agree. And if you do agree, give us a thumbs up, huh?
And if you don't, keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel right here on YouTube. And give us a follow on Twitch, where we do these videos live. And you can have a good time. You can be in the chat, and when we're doing weird stuff, you can be like, "What are you showing me? Oh God! Ah! I don't want to look at it. What are you showing me?" I grabbed a hot cobble pot. I got penguin hands. Would anyone like to plug their socials? I never know how to lead into this.
Yeah, that you did it seamlessly.
Would anyone suddenly we were laughing. Would anyone like to plug
Well,
their socials?
I feel compelled to ask because it's in the prompter, and I know you all can see the prompter, and you'll be like,
It doesn't care about us.
I don't know how to read. I'm at Gina Ippi, and I host a podcast called Knowing's Half the Podcast about G.I. Joe and other 80s cartoons.
You can find me on all socials at my name, Coy Jandreau. I host a podcast called Coycast, and I also have been doing a lot of comic recommendation videos. I'll be doing one for Lex Luthor, one for Jimmy Olsen, and anytime there's breaking news in a casting, I try to go here's 5 or 6 comics you might like and save you the 60 years of comics I've been reading. I'm not 60, but I've read since 63.
Perfect.
Check out Brandon's OnlyFans.
Yeah. I should start an OnlyFans.
At least a wiki feed, like a paywall wiki feed.
I don't think my feet are that great. That's a lot of pressure to keep your feet looking
I feel
nice.
like the feet that we feel aren't good, the ones people strive for.
Oh, they want
Whenever
a
I
weird
see
foot.
the Danny DeVito thing. You know what I mean? Like the goblin foot's always the more interesting one.
Oh, it's interesting, but
That's the Danny DeVito thing?
But do you want to be the interesting foot, or do you want to be the foot people jerk it to?
I think you're the foot you get. I don't know if you have a choice.
That's good. That's a good life lesson.
Yeah,
Good life
I don't think you
lesson.
get to choose what kind of foot
Yeah.
people are jerking off to about you.
That's a good point.
You can't change your feet, folks.
That's a good.
They're all sticky at the end of the day.
Oh, God. At Breakroom NR on Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. Sometimes known as X. We'll catch you
now.
next time. Late skaters. Goodbye. Have a great Thanksgiving.